Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is May the 5th. May the 5th. We're already into May. Quite what the weather's doing, I don't know. This is not May weather. This is October weather, November weather, December weather. It is horrible. We have had nothing but rain and just rain and more rain. It seems like every day this week we've just had wet break and the kids have been inside and it's just been horrible, really horrible, cold and miserable. Anyway, I've done the British thing. I've talked about the weather. Fingers crossed it's going to get a lot better soon. So it's nice to speak with you again. Thank you to all those people who keep coming back week after week after week. It is so lovely to talk with you again. And if you're new, welcome along. Now, with that, I have noticed today that I am 125 subscribers away from 13,000, which is mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. But if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, perhaps you'd consider just clicking that little subscribe button, because it would be nice to get to 13,000. Right, I've got so much to share with you this week. Most of it surrounding haul, actually. I've got quite a few things to show you, and some quite big bits as well. If you can hear muffling in the background, Ness has just kind of settled down into bed because I always do film the night before, and she started writing like a little diary every day. So quite often she has to ask Alexa how to spell things. So if you can hear this kind of like garbled message in the background, it's probably Ness asking Alexa how to spell something. So, as I said, I've got so much to share with you today. I've got stitching, one thing I've worked on this week, which for those of you who have watched before will know that that's really quite unusual for me to actually stick with something all week. I've normally got at least 3 things that I've worked on through the week, but this time I've had a stitch that's just held my attention all week and I have loved every single stitch on it. It's close to a finish, but not quite yet. Let me show you what I've been working on. I've even ironed her. So there we go. This is the amazing Susan Steele, who is my Norfolk. Now, I asked you last week about what you thought about the possibility of potentially releasing her before the model was finished, but it may not come to that, folks. It may not come to that. We might be finished. So it's on a fat half of 36 count Lakeside vintage buttercream, hence why it's quite difficult to fettle. So let's try again. I have gone round the outside border, not with all the leaves, but I've gone round the outside border. Let's try this side, and I've got all the way round, and it met up, well, within one stitch, but I don't know about you, if I'm going for a border, I always try and aim to meet up at the corner because it's far easier to just lose one stitch in the corner. So I was happy with that. I think I just ended up making that bit there 1 stitch longer than it should have, or that it was. And so my favourite motifs that I've stitched this week, let me show you, are these floral ones at the bottom. She's got some cracking floral motifs on her. Really, really lovely. Let's just fold it. So this one, I have absolutely loved stitching those. You probably can't see too well, but she's got pale pink in this main flower here, and then there's a couple of pale pink buds there, and then the dark blue flowers there. The colours in this sampler are just amazing, and I've got all the wording charted. Now, the wording on the original sampler would be charted in this kind of cream here, but it's obviously 1/1 apart from the capital letters, so I think I may have to take it up to the next sort of darkest, which is probably this one here. That's probably the next darkest one, which I think using that over one probably won't look as dark as it does there. So I'll have a play anyway, but I think I may have to just make that decision based on the fabric and everything that I'm using. So I am, like I said, I'm absolutely, I can't stop showing her, blown away by this. Now, let me show you the original, because I've got the original here. If you haven't seen her for a little while, she's still out of her frame. Now, the first thing you'll notice is the size difference. Here's the original. So on 36 count, she is, excuse me, considerably bigger than she is in real life. I don't know as I've actually counted the count yet, but we've got to be up somewhere at about, well, probably over 50, I should think, because it really does make a heck of a difference. So there she is, and her colours do sit on her original fabric in the same way that my colours are kind of sitting. There is bits that you have to look to be able to see, and I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy that there are some parts of it that you have to look to be able to see. I've charted the colours from the front, but I've pretty much gone one colour bolder than most of them, because she does have a little tear. Where's the little tear? Right on this side here, just enough for me to lift the fabric up very, very slightly and get a slight glimpse at the back. And as I sort of have done, basically the colours are pretty much as they are on the front, but just about one shade bolder. So you never know, we might actually get there with this. To be fair, it hasn't actually taken that long to stitch, because I've taken some quite big gaps on her. Her stitching isn't that dense, and I think she would be a lovely one if you wanted to stitch a Norfolk, because she doesn't have any freehand stitching or anything more complicated than an over one. She's quite straightforward when it comes to being a Norfolk, because the Norfolks quite often have a lot of freehand work, or certainly some freehand work. So fingers crossed that we can get her finished relatively soon. I'm hoping for the end of May. I really am hoping for the end of May. Right, let me put her down over there. What else have I got to talk to you about? The retreat that I went to last week. I was lucky enough to get onto one of the Sampler Guild retreats just for the day on Sunday. And I was there, I actually gave a little talk about some research that I've been doing about a group of samplers. And it's not just me doing the research, there's 3 or 4 other people doing research as well. But I'd managed to make potentially a little bit of a breakthrough, so hence why I was the one giving the talk. It was so fabulous. It was what Linda would call a kind of research day. So it was run by Linda and Ruthie from Crow's Feet Stitching, and they had so many samplers out for the participants to look at and to handle and to really get up close with. There was 16 or 17 participants, and Ruthie gave a couple of talks, and Linda spoke, and Letitia gave some demonstrations and some talked about some threads on the Saturday. And it sounded like, although I wasn't there for the whole weekend, it sounded absolutely amazing. Now they are at a place called Bowden Hall, which is just outside Gloucester, so it's ideal for me to stay at my mum's and then just drive into Gloucester for the day. It was just fabulous. It was just like an uplifting day of talking about samplers and stitching to a group of really like-minded people. So if that's something you're interested in, you need to go and join the Sampler Guild. All the information will be down in the box below. It's really inexpensive to join. I think it's, off the top of my head, it's something like £20 for a year or £30 for 2 years. And Linda puts on a weekly Zoom where people talk about samplers and stitching, and it's so informative. Plus there's lots of information. They go on excursions, they run these retreats. Really worth it. And Linda and Caroline are just an absolute mine of information. So I would really recommend that you join the Sampler Guild. So yeah, that was fabulous, and quite a bit of my haul came from the Sampler Guild because one of the ladies there had bought just some stash to destash, and so I went a little bit wild in the aisles with that. So I'll show you that at the end. Right, I'm going to have to look at my notes because there's so much to talk about. Let's do the freebie before she gets buried. And that is entirely possible that may have already happened. No, there it is. So the freebie today is from Lindy Stitches, and I think it actually came out today. I think I was on my email when it came through. So it's it just says "For You, Dear Human." So I wonder if that's the title of it, or whether it doesn't have a title and it's just a thing that says "For You." So this is the design, and she's shown it there on 3 different colours of fabric. It's this beautiful little bright bird with a little cotton reel and a flower. I think you could probably do that in any colours that you wanted to. So that is the freebie. I would imagine you have to be signed up to Lindy Stitches newsletter. If I can find it just on the website, then I will, but then why wouldn't you sign up to Lindy Stitches website? There's also information starting to come out about the Jingle Ball, which is a really good event in December, obviously, December. So yeah, go and have a look at that. I'll put the contact information down below. But a cute little chart, 73 by 73. So a nice quick little stitch. Right. Oh, totally lost. That's what I was going to say to you. Thank you for all the feedback last week on the little Benjamin Titchener that I released onto my Buy Me a Coffee. You loved it, and we're really glad to see him. She's asking again to spell something. Oh, she wants to turn on Serin now. So Serin, she's got like this light. It makes the inside of her room look like a galaxy. So because she's got galaxy wallpaper, and it turns the whole room like a galaxy. So she just wants that one. And the other thing is, thank you to all those people that reminded me that the thing that I was really poorly trying to describe is a thread bed. So one of those things that's got felt in it that you just fold it together. You can just put a little curl of your leftover floss in there so it doesn't get astray, doesn't turn into a rat's nest like mine normally do, and it's called a thread bed, but I couldn't remember and I couldn't describe it either. Right, okay, another bit of haul, bit of a special one, this one. I bought this on eBay and I really wanted it. It's just something about her, and I really wanted it. And I put my last possible bid in. In fact, I put my one bid in with 5 seconds to go. And my bid was, at the time, much higher than what the price was. And within those 5 seconds, I literally got pushed to the penny to my bid. But I was so glad to have her. And she turned up, just folded up in an envelope. But when you see her, hopefully you'll see why I really wanted her. So this is Hannah Attwater, 1832. So let me try and hold her. I've got a little bit of board underneath, but it doesn't quite go all the way to the bottom. Look at her. Isn't she fabulous? Isn't she fabulous? So we've got this border, and I didn't realise until I got her that the border along the top here is brown, and then it migrates to green, and then somewhere down here it goes back to brown again, and then green and brown, and so the border actually changes colour round the outside. And then you've got these, how many did I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, plus some doodads. And the font is my absolute favourite font. It's kind of a Quakery font. Now obviously the rest of the sampler isn't the typical Quaker motifs, but I am going to do a little bit of research on her and see if I can find her and see if there is any Quaker influence in the background at all there. But I just love this. Love, love, love. And I think she'd be great as a stitch along as well. A 12-month stitch along. You've got 20 obvious parts there, so you'd have 2 motifs a month plus the name and the border. I think that would take you 12 months, no problem. But look at the back. Now this is stitching I'm very happy to show you the back of. Wouldn't be showing you the back of mine. Look at that. You can barely tell the difference between the back and the front. Some antique samplers that you buy, oh my God, they carry their threads. But Hannah Attwater was an absolute little treasure when it comes to sorting out her back. She was taught very well. Now it's on a really, really fine ground. Again, we're definitely up over 40 count. I may have the perfect fabric for this, I will show you, but I just love it. The birds and the motifs, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And this just, like I say, absolutely blew my socks off. I think it was on a 9-day auction, and I waited and I waited and I waited for those 9 days because I knew I wanted her so badly. And I know I've got a lot of samplers, but when you see one you really, really want, it's special. Okay, so we're on to kind of bona fide haul and some plans. And I think I might actually do the plans first, because the last bit of haul that I want to do is the Fox and Rabbit fabric of the month, because I only posted them out today. They arrived with me yesterday, so on the Friday. I posted them out on the Saturday. So if you don't want to see it, you'll just have to cut off just the last little bit. But they seem to take ages in transit again this time. I think I'd said to you last week that I'd had the text to say that they were on their way, and usually it's probably 3 or 4 days from that point and they've arrived with me. But I think I got the text last Thursday, maybe Friday, and so they seem to take a long time again. So plans, I'm going to start off with plans, and it sort of links into a little bit of my haul. One of the things that I bought, because I needed 2 threads, right? I put in an order for Peakside. I needed 2 threads, one of which I ordered wrong. Do you remember me telling you that I needed 1 thread for my Deadly Aquarium sale, and I'd ordered the one I'd got? Well, I thought, okay, I'll order it from Peakside, because I needed another of the same colour for Susan Steele. And it's 839 that I needed, so I ordered 939. So still haven't got the thread I want. So anyway, I needed 2 threads, but they can't travel alone. So this was one of the things that I bought. Erica Michael's Quilting Berries. I've got a real thing about berries and strawberries at the moment, and I've decided what I'm going to do is the first 2 weeks of July is Wimbledon. Wimbledon is famous for its strawberries. The first 2 weeks of July, I am going to have a strawberry palooza. Now, I'm not massively into tennis. I won't be watching a lot of the tennis. I might watch the finals, but I'm certainly not going to be watching all the matches. But those first 2 weeks of Wimbledon in July, I've decided I am having a strawberry palooza. I'm going to make as many strawberries as I can, as I'm going to finish as many strawberries as I can. So this one I bought with my haul to accompany the one correct thread and the one incorrect thread. And I was just going to put these away today, and I realised I really liked the colours of them. These were my Lakeside threads from last month. Some of them, I think I've probably taken a couple of them out. But I thought I might do them in those colours because I really quite liked those colours. Maybe grab one sort of slightly stronger pink and we'll see. I've put them together just so that I can do that if the fancy strikes me. So I've been through my stash and I've found, excuse me, still got this annoying cough, some strawberries that I've got that I'm going to save for the first week in July. Now, this one I've already stitched up, so this is going to be one that just needs to be made up. This one, let's take it out of the packet. Oops. The sampler berry. Now, I'm pretty sure I've got two others as well. The English sampler berries, the ones with the little sampler motifs on. I'm sure I've got that one. And I'm sure I've got the one that's got the text around the outside as well. But I couldn't lay my hands on them just now. I've also got Wicked Cute. That one. Let's try and keep the glare off that one. There we go, because it's got the buttons with it. So I'll keep that one in the packet. So I've got that one. I've got Yuletide. I've got St. Nick's berry, and I'm sure I've also got a berry with a moose on it as well. Maybe. And then in the Winds of Autumn book, there is a giant berry. This one, which I'd waited for ages and ages for it to come out for this book. So I haven't stitched it yet, but let's see if I can just show you bigger. There we go. But there's a berry in there as well. So if anybody wants to join me, first 2 weeks of July, when Wimbledon's on, I'm having a strawberry season. I've decided. Right, what else have we got? What else did I pick up? Well, this was the other chart that couldn't travel, or couldn't let the threads travel alone. So sort of £2 worth of threads and £15 worth of charts, but there we go. This is the way I roll. Silver Creek Samplers. This came out in market this year and it was one of the ones that I'd said that I wanted to get, but I didn't actually pick it up. So it says crisp cool air, moonlit night, warm bonfire, stars so bright, dancing flames, ancient lore, embers glowing, make us small. And we absolutely love to have a fire and do s'mores. So definitely one for our family. You can hear the shower going. It's all going on this evening. It really is all going on this evening. Right, what else have I got? The incorrect thread. Do you know what? I baffle myself some days. Absolutely baffle myself. What else have I got? Oh, I picked this up. Dorene Jones was having a 50% off sale. And I liked this. It's a little pouch with a clip or a kiss. What do they call them? A kiss closure. Now this is stitched on 25 count and I'm presuming it's 2/2, although it doesn't say anywhere, but judging by the sizes of the finished article, it's 2/2. So that must relate to a particular closure that you can buy. So I will have a good look at that. I have actually made a little purse with a kiss top before, a little tiny Blackbird Designs one. And I figure if I can make a little tiny one that was fiddly, I can probably make this one. I picked up this one from Stash Unloading. Somebody was selling it on a Facebook group. There we go. Talking of Facebook groups, I joined a new Facebook group today. Now this will let you know how sad I am. I haven't watched a lot of FlossTube this week because I have been obsessed with watching Monster Carp. It's a fishing programme. 3 lads go fishing, catch big carp. Dull, okay? But I love it. The Facebook group that I joined today was about people who find other people's shopping lists at the supermarket. I'm sure I've told you before, if I find somebody else's shopping list, I cannot not pick it up. It's just so interesting to me what other people buy. What other people buy. And sometimes I think, right, if I, find a shopping list, I think I'm just going to buy what's on their shopping list and make something from it. A bit like Ready, Steady, Cook. So yeah, there's actually a Facebook group for people who are a bit weird like me, like finding other people's shopping lists. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Maybe don't subscribe to me, I'm too weird. So I got that. And on the same day that this arrived, my West Green Loft Yarns fabric arrived. Can you guess what colour it was? Look, it couldn't have happened better if I'd have ordered it myself. So this is called Vanilla Bean. And I get a 32 count in this because I get a 36 count in Fox and Rabbit. Sorry for the crinkling because it's one of those really crinkly ones. And this time it came with a little needle threader. It has got the little, maybe if I hold it against my jumper. There you go. I'll probably pass it on to my mum because I never bother with a needle threader. My eyes are all right at the moment. So yeah, look at that colour. It couldn't have happened better. It really couldn't have happened better. So I shall be keeping that fabric with that. If she doesn't go on that, she could actually end up on the remnants of my vintage buttercream by Lakeside when I finally cut Susan Steele down. Right, I'm going to leave that till the end, just so that people don't get a surprise, or people do get a surprise if that's what they want. Now, I mentioned to you that there was a lady who had bought quite a lot of her stash to this meetup at the weekend. She'd said she bought herself a new cabinet and she was having to be very strict. If it didn't fit in the cabinet, then it was up for sale. So I picked up quite a lot of ones that I've just never seen before. So this one is called Dames Boarding School by Exemplar Dames. It's got a bit of glare on it because it's one of the older ones that's got an actual photograph on it, which I really liked. I'm going to put these back in their packets, otherwise I shall end up in such a mess. With Thy Needle and Thread Springtime Sampler. That's too glary. Too glary. Which I've never seen before. Never seen that one. And then I got Sweet Humility by Carriage House Samplings. Now, I started to read this and I just loved it. I'm not going to read it all out to you, but it's a really long, wordy one. Really, really long, wordy one. So it's called Sweet Humility. Oh, that was my notes just falling on the floor. And then Handwork Primitives. This is called the Virtue Inventory Pillow, which I thought was just so cool. So you can stick a pin in where your level of virtue lies. So what have we got? We've got kindness, probably all right on that. Patience, forgiveness, no, be all right on that. Modesty, somewhere in the middle probably. Obedience, depends what you want me to do. Generosity, yeah. Truthfulness, sweetness of temper. Could call that last one into question. And then I got Birds of a Feather. I presume this is called A Bird in the Hand, which I have seen before and I've been looking for. And then I bought With My Needle by the Good Housewife or Hussif. That one, which says flowers, plants and fishes, beasts, birds, flies and bees, hills, dales, plains, pastures, skies, seas, river, trees. There's nothing near at hand or furthest sought, but with my needle may be shaped and wrought. Love that one. Then I got this one, Matilda and Charles, which is a scarlet letter one, which is totally sealed. That's going to require scissors to get into it. Like that one. I've wanted this one for ages, Lucy Calcutta. This is Lucy Calcutta 1825. And then I got, again, the Good Hussif Dutch strawberries, which I really like. Shouldn't be too long on that one. 71 by 119, so not big. A little chart by Little, and I have stitched one of their charts before, and it's actually in the back there. Now this is I'll give you a little tour of my cabinet once I've finished filling it, but this is my cabinet that I spoke to you about, that I'd bought, painted, waxed, distressed. Really happy with it, but it's got the glass in there at the moment, but maybe next time I'll leave it open and I can show you some of the things that are in there. So how did I get from there to the cabinet? This Little by Little, I've stitched one of their designs before, and it's in the cabinet, made into a little needle book. And then the last one I got is by Barrack Samplers, and it's called 1848 Reproduction Sampler, with just a couple of little folks on there. So I picked all those up, and I also picked up, now quite where my brain was at this point in time. So Linda had sent me from the Sampler Guild some of their linen to try, and I think I showed you this before, and this is a 48 count Sotema Italian linen. Beautiful. And this is the linen that I think Hannah Attwater may go on. I think I may need to tea dye it slightly, but I think I'm going to try and do Hannah Attwater on it. As you can see, it's in the pristine condition that it was when Linda sent it to me. I have not stitched on this. Quite why, when Chloe from Girl from a Gavel Stitches was buying a piece of 60 count linen and didn't quite want the full size pit, why I said, I'll share it with you. I have no idea. I have no idea. So yes, it does look absolutely featureless, doesn't it? This is going to take some doing. Now I have actually had a little go with this, and I can't remember if I left them in. I probably did, because it would have been too much faff to take them out. But I stitched, oh, there they are, a grand total of about 6 stitches in it. So I can stitch it. I can stitch it. And I use these as my magnification. They are by a company called London Mole, and you get them from Amazon. These are 2.5 times, and I managed to stitch on it with the 2.5 times magnification. But quite frankly, I could have done with a little bit more. So I have actually ordered another pair of glasses, not from London Mole, but from, I can't remember what company they're from now, but they're 4 times magnification. Now I really like the half ones, because it gives me a headache if I use full readers, trying to look at the chart and then trying to look at the fabric. So I like the fact that I can look down through these and then use my normal eyesight for looking at the chart, because I don't really need glasses for looking at the chart. They're for seeing farther away. And then my last bit of haul, other than the Fox and Rabbit fabric, which I'm going to show you, I had an absolute bargain on Facebook Marketplace. Now, I have long seen people getting amazing hauls of threads and things like that on Facebook Marketplace. Now, did I ever think that would happen in West Wales? No, I didn't. However, it did. It did. This lady put up, in fact, when I went to pick it up, it was this bag full. Now, it was a mixture of different threads, and I'll show you some of the other threads that were in there at the moment. But out of that bag, I ended up with over 400 DMCs. And when I worked out what I paid for it, I paid less than 20p a skein for them, which is amazing. So I bought a new box for them. So that is what 400 skeins of DMC looks like. There were also in there about 50 skeins of Anchor, which is also a lovely floss to use as well. So I will be able to use those in my stitching. Now, some of the DMCs are getting on for being a little bit of the older ones. The colour lots and dye lots have probably changed. So anything that I am reproducing, I will buy new DMC for. But for my own stitching, I'm definitely using those. Absolute bargain. There was also, and what's left in here, 3 massive other bags, or they were by the time I sorted them out, of just other threads. Some of them I'd heard of, some of them I'd never heard of. So there's these sorts of ones which are like, they're called moon braid, which they don't feel very nice, but I've never heard of them. They're definitely older. There's these ones called Trebler. Again, never heard of them. If you've heard of them and they're nice threads, let me know. And maybe I'll have another look at them again. There were some threads in here called Duchess threads. Is that one of them? Lady 6-strand embroidery thread. Again, they don't feel that nice, but if you've heard of them before, let me know. And like I said, Duchess threads. And what was that one? Yeah, pretty much those. And then there are a few, again, which I'd never heard of. These ones are called, what are they called? It says it on the bottom, except not on that one. Here we go. They are called Designs for the Needle, but on the label it says janlin.com. So I would imagine, and they feel much nicer. So that was a combination between separated and parcelled. I've separated them off because they feel a bit nicer. So again, use those for my own stitching. So I was super pleased to get all those for such a bargain price. It was amazing. That sort of thing doesn't really happen, but it did. And the last thing, if you don't want to see the fox and rabbit linen for this month, is called Antarctica. Now I think we've had a similar one before, but I can't remember what the colour was. It's going to be really hard to see. It's a very beautiful kind of mint green with like a blue mottle to it. Sort of like that, but sort of minty green as well. I don't know if I can put anything next to it that'll make it show. Yeah, kind of like that, a minty green with a little bit of blue mottling. There we are. And that's it from me. Now, there will be a FlossTube next week, I think, but I might have to film it on the Friday night because I am going on a hen do next Saturday. There are 2 people at work who are getting married, not to each other. They're 2 ladies at work and they just happen to both be getting married over the summer, one in June, one in July, I think. And so they're having like a joint hen do for all the works girls. So that'll be me on Saturday. And apparently there's karaoke involved. Now they don't know that I can't carry a tune in a tin bucket, so that's going to be interesting. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.